Hello, Papercut here, doing another replay review. This time we have Season Pass, hope I'm saying the name right, French player, Gold 1, playing against the English, which is perfect because he posted on the Reddit about how he's been doing 2TC French and he's been particularly struggling against English, and how basically he just struggles with the micro, with the back and forth. He feels like he often gets kind of at the pikeman, there's too many longbows, what have you. So we want to look at both his strategy, how he goes about it, and give him some advice. I am currently streaming this replay review on Discord, on my coaching Discord, which you'll see linked in the description below, where if you join on, there's a bunch of different help via strategy talks about AOE, there's offerings for replay reviews, you can come watch me do these live reviews and ask questions, and then lastly, of course, this coaching options is there as well. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So this is Himeyama. Great thing about Himeyama is that it's so easy to raid. If you notice, a lot of the times when someone's spawn starts, everything is very far away from the TC. Stone, gold, even berries pretty far away from the TC. And usually, sometimes people get lucky, but usually it's impossible to wall very easily. So you have a lot of chances to raid. I know you like to do a 2TC style, which of course can work. But on maps like Himeyama, you might always consider just doing a 1TC aggression. But a 2TC is nice because if the aggression doesn't work, you have the eco to fall back on. So I'm going to be interested to see how you set that up. It's all about efficiency in these 2TC plays. Both putting on some light aggression early on, and then responding with getting your TC up quickly. I'm also going to be looking for how you balance your army compared to what you're seeing out of the old English player. Let's go and get going. So first thing I'm looking for is your scouting pattern. Are you doing an efficient scouting pattern? Okay, so first, small critique. Your goal in scouting should always be to get as much of the map as you can, as efficiently as you can, because you want to make sure you see all the resources, get as many sheep as possible, and then get back to your opponent's base when they hit feudal, so you have a chance to see what they're doing and respond accordingly. You went up, and I think you're going to go around and back over, which if that happens, let's see if that's what you do. Yeah, so you missed out on everything over here, everything back here, and basically to get the rest of the map, you're going to have to do either a very weird scouting pattern or go over areas you already scouted. What I would have preferred, and what you should do with almost every map, except like Golden Pit, where there's just no sheep in the middle, is I would have rather preferred you see do a straight line to the middle, and then either gone down or gone up, and cleared out a whole side and come back. Or since you know you often burn through your sheep pretty quick as French, maybe more of a halfway, or even getting like this corner here, and then got the rest of it, checking what your opponent's doing, maybe going over and checking the corner and then coming back, so you're right where your opponent is. But your goal is that you're not retreading over areas and trying to get as much of the map cleared so you know where resources are, so you can get sheep, things like that. If you do an inefficient scouting pattern, you might often not get as many sheep, because if your opponent comes in the center first, they'll get the center sheep and then pick off to a side. And if you happen to pick the same side, you're just not going to have any sheep. Which right now you see you haven't found any. There's one. That's nice. But small things like efficient scouting patterns, how we split our villagers, really add up over the game. Okay, so this is a recent thing I've seen from a lot of new players. Or lower elo players, I don't know how long you've been playing the game for, is in our build orders going to gold first too quickly. In this build order, you should go to 8 on food first, and of course build the house of villager, then do 3 to gold, and then keep rallying to food. You notice you're about to hit 200 gold, but you're still far away from your age up of 400 food. So you're not getting up as fast as you need to. If you don't get up as fast as you can, then you're getting your knight out later, which means your knight's getting to their base later, which means they have time to prepare. So you should do 8 on food first, then 3 on gold, then keep rallying to food till you age up. That's what I mean by efficient age ups. Efficient age up means, are you hitting 400 food and 200 gold at the same time? 5 on age up is too many. You might not know this, but the optimal speed is 4 villagers. Then every time you add a villager on an age up, how much that villager adds on decreases, so it gets less efficient as it happens. Now, of course, if you need to age up very, very quickly, you put more villagers, it will help. But you also want to balance out, especially in the early game when you don't have very many villagers, still having villagers available to gather. So I would do 4 or 3 on the age up, so you're leaving yourself villagers to gather resources. At this point, you should start rallying to wood, because you need to start collecting wood to build blacksmith, to build lumber camps, to build mills, things like that. Okay, now we're at the opponent's base. At this point, since you're about to age up and you're going to go, I assume, build a knight right here, you want to be right at your opponent's base so you can see what's going on with their base. So your goal should be, if you want to do this 2TC play, is to have enough resources to build a 1 knight and be good to go, which you've done. You have enough to build 1 knight. At this point, you should leave 4 on food, continue making villagers, and the split between wood and stone. One thing you might want to notice is you're going to have a lot of extra gold. You could either get wheelbarrow, which would be really helpful to you because it helps all villagers. Wheelbarrow is your best economic tech. Or, next time you do this, mine to only 100 gold and then pull them off gold, because that gives you the amount you need to get 1 day on the field. Okay, this is a huge no-no. Huge no-no. Why are we dropping a farm? You know what I mean? Farms are 75 wood and are very expensive. So that's very expensive. That's wood you no longer can put towards a second TC. They could put towards an archery range. They could put towards a mill, things like that. And farms aren't even that fast to gather rate. Farms are basically this a little worse than sheep. Unless, of course, you get like them upgraded all the way. But even then, like, farms are not that efficient. You are a food-heavy civ. I would have preferred, well, one, that's why a more efficient scouting pattern, which gets you more sheep, would be helpful. Like, you missed 2 sheep right at the front of the lake. See if you missed any in the corners. That's not the point. The point being is, you should actually go on the hunt. You should be on this hunt or this boar. Deer actually and boar gather faster and provide you more food. So I would have preferred if you had just sent these villagers off to a deer pack, because the knight should keep the English player in his base. He's going to be chasing around the knight. He's going to be dealing with that. If you're afraid of an English villager, then go on berries. But this is just a waste of wood, especially because your goal right now is to get up a second TC as fast as possible. Are you on second TC? No, I'm not too sure. Okay, so that was a good raid. That was a good raid. Here's the key, though. He's expecting you on the gold. Now, you go hit the wood line. Like, you need to mix and match, and you need to mix it up. Right now, you don't know where to go because your scout isn't with your knight. And this is a huge reason why, for French players, your scout no longer is scouting when your knight comes out. Your scout now sits with the knight because it gives you vision. It allows you to see, oh, there's a spear there, don't go there. It allows you to go rotate around the base, because right now, this knight and your scout should just be doing a circle around the base and checking for villagers and hitting and running. Right now, your issue is you have no food. Part of that happened because of your scouting choices. The second is because you're just not on the map. Your opponent's scared of that knight. He has built no longbows. All he has is spears. So you could just be taking any of the food sources on the map, which would be huge for you. These 2 farms and these berries are providing you no food. You cannot build knights on this food income. So the big thing for you is taking the hunts, taking the deer, taking the boar, which will really, really help your food income, that you can keep making knights. Because so far, I don't see you going for 2TC. You might not do 2TC this game, which is fine. But you need to be on better food resources. As an aggressive civ, you have to use your resources on the map. So it looks like you're doing just 1 TC play here. Once again, you need so much more food. Idlevilles, Idlevilles, Idlevilles. Let's watch your point of view here. How long is it taking you to notice this? Okay, putting them. Okay, so here's the thing. So at every point in time, we're asking ourselves, what do we need? You notice he has spears, so I need archers. Perfect, great. We need to make sure we're setting up our eco to fit the thing we want to make. So if you want to make archers, archers cost a lot of wood. 30, food, 50 wood. So the natural thing you should be thinking of, I need more on wood. How do I know this? We need to be doing a consistent cycle of the macro cycle. Are you making villagers? You've been good. You've been making villagers this whole time. Second, are you making units? You're trying to. You just queued up archers. You've been making horsemen, but now you made another knight, which is good. And then you ask yourself, how are my villager splits? And looking at this, you have a lot on food, some on gold, some on wood. And you ask yourself, what am I trying to do? Because your eco is based on your goal. Your goal is to not make archers to pair with your knights to keep attacking. If that's the case, I have enough on food. I now need to go to wood. Should be your thought process. I need to be on wood so I can keep making archers. Because you can get a few archers out, his spears become a lot worse. I like that you now paired your scout up with your knight and horseman. One line. Good. I like you not going overboard. I think you just lost your archer because you weren't paying attention. You're losing a knight for free. Remember, if a ping ever happens, you can press spacebar to pop to the ping, because this cannot happen. Because here's kind of the thing you're trying to do right now. What you want to do is start setting up a group of archers, basically like right here. So you're just rallying a bunch of archers right here, and backup knights. And you have like 2 or 3 knights that are with your scout, just raiding continuously. So he feels like he has to stay here. And as he stays here, and you maybe kill a villager here and there, you just keep rallying to the spot. And then eventually, once you have enough archers and enough knights, then you walk in and actually do the thing. You know what I mean? But you have to build that mass. You can't lose these very expensive knights on one-offs like this. Which, it's actually doing okay on its own right now. But yeah, that was just an unfortunate waste. Second thing is you really need a blacksmith. Which, once again, being more on food would be huge. Wood here would be huge, because you need a blacksmith, and getting arrow defense is huge against English. The reason you feel like you have to be on food, because berries aren't cutting it. And you've lost so much. This is 75, 150. You lost 300 wood on farms. 300 wood could be a blacksmith and another archery range, so you could really be making the archers to push into his base. Because right now he's not in a great spot. His eco's about to dry out. He's about to run out of sheep. He'll then have to hard commit to farms, which cost wood, or go on berries, which are wide open. And that's when you have him. The beautiful thing about him and Yama is that it's great to be aggressive, because all the food resources are so far away from the opponent's base. So once he loses out on his initial food, they just can't make anything anymore if you just keep the pressure on. Your goal is not necessarily to win quickly. Your goal is to keep him in his base, keep massing, and then when he hits that area of when he has no more food, and you're just eating all the food on the map because you have map control, then you go in for the killing blow. So you can't be losing units, but you have to be keeping the pressure on. So you just threaten and run away. Threaten and run away. Good. But we're not building a mass while this is happening. Here's 4 archers, but that's not enough. Don't walk in with 4 archers. Don't. No. This is your second knight. It's just taking unnecessary damage. You have to realize when you rally if it's going past your opponent's base. That's why I always suggest rally in front and then selectively move if you want to go behind units behind him. These archers are going to get killed by longbows. And that's just like, you need to know. You saw these longbows earlier. You know he has longbows. You cannot engage with archers until your knights are there. You just can't. Because his longbows will just smack your archers. You need a mass of them. So we need them just building here until you're ready to actually fight. This is also when you need to check. And once again, that's why the macro cycle is so important, because we have to keep checking. At this point, you'd realize I have way too much food. I don't have enough gold to make knights. I don't have enough wood to make archers, but I have a lot of food. So I need to start splitting my villagers more to get the resources to make the things I want. Every time you're not actively microing, like what you have to do over here with your knights, you should be doing a macro check and fixing these things. Because as the aggressive civ, you need your eco in a good spot to make the units to win the game. And now you're rallying too far back. Just rally in the middle here. Good raid. I like how you killed one, got out. See how desperate he is to build walls here? Even if he just builds walls here, that's fine. You've kept them in his base. You're going, finally, but this is way too late. And let me tell you, doing 22 on deer, you're gonna have way too much food, and now you're just losing units here. Okay. So far what I've seen is just a consistent issue of losing units. The two biggest things on what I'm seeing is a macro imbalance. That's come from making farms and not splitting your villagers more evenly based on what you want to make. So that macro is holding you back because you literally can't make units. Two, you keep on losing extra units that could be part of your death push. So that is 4 knights and... Not 4 knights. No, yeah, it's 4 knights and 3 archers that are no longer part of your push force. He currently has 9 longbows, 4 spears. That's it. And 3 spears over here. You have 12 military. He has 17. So you factor in those units you lost back into this comp. You could literally walk in right now, push him off gold, and win this fight. You wouldn't kill him, but you could keep him off gold and then move in from there. Like, you have the units if you had just kept them safer. And that's a lot of times the difference between winning and losing in fights like this. Please stop making farms. You need wood so bad. Hey, you're just not getting eco upgrades? If you go on the hunt like this, you should get survival techniques. It's really helpful. What are we doing? So here's the problem of what you just did. You went to the opposite direction, and since you don't have a tower, or you don't have any visibility, he just assumed that he can push you, and he's not wrong. You have nothing here to defend this. Now you have 2 options here. You either run your force back and fight this, or you realize that's all of his longbows, and you dive right now. Because you could dive with all of these knights, and just go on a rampage through his archers. I mean, through his longbows. Sorry, through his villagers. But that's because you stopped attack. Like, once you kind of set up a point of attack, you maintain this point of attack. Because if you were rallying here, you would have seen him coming, and then you could have either ran or fought him here, and then you raid off around that. But you want to. That's why you kind of want to establish kind of like a beachhead almost. Like, this is my spot. It's far enough away that he can't just snipe me. I can build a tower here. This is where I'm rallying my units, and he can't. It's harder for him to sneak around and do these raids on you. Good. But you notice engaging without your archers being there is really hurting you. Look how much food you have that you just can't spend. And now you're being held back by, now you realize that I don't have enough production. Because you've gotten, at this point, 47 villagers, but you never made more production. Like, as you get more villagers, you need to increase your production to match the eco you now have available to fight with. You really need a scout. I suggest anytime you lose your scout, you build another scout. If you're running a good castle, you're not awful. The key is that you cannot fight until your veteran upgrades come in. He goes castle 2, so now we're equal. But here's the issue: did he go second TC? He did. If I'm you, I assume that he goes second TC and you make your own second TC. Just because he's just gonna start out ecoing you soon. I would put towers out whenever you have villagers away, because you know he's walking around with longbows right now. This wall is very ambitious. Okay, this was such a great move. The run past the spears onto the archers. Now your archers are coming up. Keep running, beautiful. Circle back, very nice. What you need to do is, I would double click or control click your archers. So if you control click, you gather them all, or double click. And at this point, you just shift and just click on all of his spears, and you just control knights. Especially if you're not strong with micro, just click on his spears. You can sacrifice your archers. They are the cheapest thing. It's fine. These knights you need to keep alive. So as you just keep running your knights around as you kill his spears, and once the spears die, you just run in. I would literally hunt down his spears with your archers. Put a tower frontwards so that you see it coming, and it's more defensive than back here, because he could just walk up and pick these villagers with longbows, no problem. Make sure you're getting your veteran upgrades for archers. Please get veteran upgrades for archers. And honestly, yep, I like the switch into Arbitrary, but you have enough archers that getting the veteran upgrade is worth it. Should you put your guild hall on? Nope. Nope. Put the guild hall on food. You will notice almost every top level player puts their guild hall on food. Why? Well, one, at some point you'll need to make a full farm transition, and that is expensive, and you will be out of food for a while, and you'll be like struggling with food. And then if that happens, you can pop your food from the guild hall and be good to go. Or two, if things are going well, you've made a strong farm transition, at any point you can pop the food and just go Imperial. Because boom, because you can get like 2,000 food in this, pop it, go Imperial, you're good to go. It's almost like a free Imperial. Two, once again, you're missing Hunt. Boar is huge. Use your Hunt. So what I've noticed is ever since you lost your scout, you just have a complete lack of scouting. You just don't know what's happening. Two, you need to get keeps up. Keeps are part of the French bonus. So I should see a bunch of, you should start rallying villagers to stone. You don't need 20 on gold. I would take these and just put them on stone. Because putting down a keep right here for your archers and for your knight, for your stables is really important. But you don't know what's going to hit you. You're going to get hit before you even realize it. You need a scout. This is for anyone watching this. If you lose your scout, remake it. It's so important to have vision. Make 2 scouts. Have 1 scout check the other side. Another thing I do is if I have a lot of extra wood and I know I'm ahead on villagers, I'll send a villagers to just make towers, because just having vision is so important. You're going in blind right now. You have no idea what he has. And that's what I mean. With the scout, you see this coming. You see this coming. Right now, you can't. And now you've run into an issue where he obviously kept making units and you didn't. Because now you have 38, and he has 62. Seeing this, I also know I need to get a second TC up. But you're just not making units. This whole fight's happening, and you're making 3 out of the tray, and you have made no more units. I honestly, like, Mangonels here would be huge. 2 or 3 Mangonels wipes the Spearman. Yeah, these, oh man, this is painful. You just committed without knowing what he had. So this is what can't happen. We can't have these pushes where we just stop making villagers, we stop making units. It just kind of sits here. Always have your TC attached to a source, and make sure you're always making villagers. And at this point, you have so many resources, and you decide what you want to do. Are you about to die? Do you need to go imp? This is where I mean, if you had been food, you would have had 1,000. You could have popped 1,000 food, bought the rest, and gone Red Palace and lived. Be fine. But the biggest issue is you didn't know. Like, you never checked. And since you didn't know, you ran in and got wiped because his army was double your size. You kind of just took a guess. Where are we going? Why are we doing this? Okay. So we need to ask ourselves, why am I attacking right now? What am I gaining from this? Like, any move we make, we're trying to gain an advantage from. You've done a great job. You're on the map. You've walled up a little bit. You're getting resources. You're making a farm transition. All well and good. Why did you just run your units out there? You're not making villagers. That's a problem. You need to be doing that. But why did you just run your arbitrary out there with nothing? Why? Like, you saw what he had. You knew that wasn't going to get you anywhere. You should just... I should see you desperately trying to get a keep up or a red palace up and trying to get mangonels and just getting units ready to go. No, you can't take this fight. You can't take this fight. You have to wait. You very much need to drop a market and use all this gold. What I've seen is multiple times you've macroed correctly way after you had the resources. Like, you just can't fight. This mass is too big. Like, now you're getting enough food, but that required you getting 4,000 gold first. You're not often enough stopping and going, where do I need to put my villagers? And now you're just rallying your villagers onto nothing. Rally them on the wood, or just rally them to something. Don't have them just rallying to the wide open. Because right now you're on 71 villagers. He's on 96, and you saw that second TC, and you never went, maybe I should do something different. You know what I mean? We're dead at this point. So let's talk about what could have been different. So first, clean up the build order. Make sure you're getting out that night faster, so you can start raiding faster. You didn't go second TC this time, but then that's your turn to go second TC. 2, I need you to put fixing your macro at the top of your what's important. Because a lot of the times, people mess up their macro because it's not actually the most important thing to them. They'd rather pay attention to the micro. Macro is the most important decision you can make. Because look, right now you're about to die with over 6,000 resources. And that's because you didn't value the macro portion of always making units. I'm always making villagers, I'm always making units, and I'm adjusting my villagers based on what is my resource looking like. Because if you bought villagers and you've queued up units, then you can see what you have too much of. Way too much wood? Why is that? Oh, I have 15 on wood, but I'm making men-at-arms. I should probably shift some of those wood villagers or rally to food now. So make sure you're doing that microcycle regularly. If you're in the middle of a fight, do what's most important, making units, making villagers, and then adjust it later. But the biggest issue is that you just kept having too much of one resource and never of the one you needed at the time. When you're trying to make knights, you had no food. When you wanted to make archers, you had no wood. When you had the castle, you had way too much gold, but no food. So you kept on missing out on a resource that allowed you to build the army you needed to win. 3, vision. Once you lost your scout, you never scouted again, and that's what really, really burned you. So make sure you always have a scout. Make sure you are scouting before you're attacking, so you're not attacking blind. Unless it's a raid. Sometimes with a raid, you just guess. Lastly, use the resources on the map. If you are the aggressive civ, especially in feudal, you need to use the hunts. Berries are an eco-killer for you. Someone who needs very expensive, food-heavy units. And then lastly, as I saw, your feudal pressure died because you kept losing units instead of building a mass that could have won you the game. And then he set his eco up and his eco took off. I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you're watching this, anyone else watching this, good luck on your games.